Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Keeping It Real with San. Hope you guys are good. I hope you guys are blessed. And I know I've been distant for quite some time. I've been MIA, but that's because, as most of y'all know, I am a second year university student. So school has just been getting crazy busy. A lot has been happening, and it required my full undivided attention. And of course, I had to give it because I'm not trying to be downplaying myself here. I'm not trying to be failing. I'm not trying to be get terrible marks. So without a hesitant moment or doubt, I just gave it my undivided attention. And while I was doing that, with a lot of tests, assignments, quizzes coming up back to back to back to back, I found myself a lot in moments of doubt and moments of stress, and everybody knows once doubt and stress kind of enters the rooms, like self confidence, self belief, and self efficacy, and all these things jump out the window like immediately, same time. So I was in a moment of a lot of self doubt, constantly questioning myself, constantly reevaluating myself, being anxious about the future, what's coming next, the decisions I make, second guessing everything, and always feeling like I'm not doing enough, especially with like studying and stuff like that. Students know that when the pressure is high and the spotlight is on you, you always feel like every moment of you being awake or every moment of you being up has to be dedicated to you either studying, attending classes, or basically just being productive, initially. And with that coming into play, we kind of neglect ourselves, we neglect our mental health, we neglect who we are as individuals, we neglect ourselves on a personal basis, and we kind of lose ourselves in the midst of the chaos and the noise. And sometimes it can be very hard to block out that noise and to find yourself. It's like your vision becomes blurry, and the person that you're looking at in the mirror kind of also becomes blurry as well. So with that being said, I just wanted to say that, in moments like this, we always need to remember to just breathe, take step backs, and not allow the chaos to consume us and not allow the chaos to make ourselves, see ourselves less than what we really are. And, Kobe Bryant said it like one of the most best ways a person possibly can. He said he sees doubt as something that's pointless, as something that's irrelevant and useless, because he said worrying about whether you are successful or fail laying as a person is pointless, because if you're successful, great, the emotions are high, outcome is high, everybody is positive. But tomorrow, you still got to wake up and do the exact same thing. And even if you fail, yes, you might feel low. Yes, you might feel like shit. You might, not be in the best spirit. But tomorrow, you still have to wake up and do the exact same thing. And I feel like this really aligns with academics. Whether you pass a test, yes, your spirit is high, your emotions are high, but you still got to go back into your room. You still got to go back into, the library. You still got to go back into your study areas and re-study again for the next subject, the next module, the next upcoming test. And it's the same even if you fail. Whether you fail or pass, you still gotta do that process all over again. You still gotta go back. You gotta study. You gotta engage with your work. You gotta be productive in the hopes that your productivity and your activities and energy that you've been engaging with your work pays off in the end. And there's never a guarantee towards that. But what's important is that you always control what you can control, focus on what you can focus on, and leave everything else that's externally to be dealt with externally. Don't ever feel like you as an individual have to actually be controlling these moments, have to be actually pulling the strings to make things align with you, because it's impossible. Not everything can be controlled by us, no matter how much we might want it to be like that, no matter how much we might try to control things. Some things are just simply out of our control. And with regards to the constant feeling to, engage with the work, be productive, study long hours, study hard. There was a video that I saw where a lady, I'm not sure if she was a psychologist or what, she said that, sometimes, a lot of people say it's weird how when they're engaging with the content or engaging with specific information and studying, it's like they feel like nothing is clicking. They're not gaining the information. They're not learning anything. Instead, they're just like staring at a bunch of words or, you know, just staring into a book with nothing really entering their brain. So they take a step back, they leave, they go, do their chores, they watch something, they talk to friends, hang out with friends, engage, and basically put their brains in a state of peace and mindfulness. And when they come back and revisit the work, they realize that for some strange reason, the information is now clicking. Like they actually really understand the content, or they really understood what it is that they were studying at the time. And that's the funny thing that a lot of us don't actually realize about the brain is that the brain doesn't usually work its highest performance while you're studying or while you're engaging with content information while you are attending classes. It actually engages with that information once you're in a mindful state, once you're at peace, once just chilling, taking it easy. Sometimes it happens when you're sleeping. That's when your brain hits its most like productive levels, if that makes sense, in the sense that it actually engages with information that you've taken throughout that day or throughout that moment and dissects it, breaks it down, evaluates it, really looks at it for what it really is. And that's why when you go back to the information, you actually be like, huh, I actually do know this. I actually understood it when I was studying, and I actually took in the information when I was studying, even though I thought I did not, and it felt like I did not. And that's the crazy thing about the mind, that it doesn't always work the way we want it to work. It doesn't always work at the time we want it to work, but you just gotta be patient with it. It's kind of like a back and forth process, go hit the books, go study, go be productive, but also take time to step back, allow it to breathe, allow it to dissect the information that you've given it in a manner that it sees fit for itself, and then go back after some time and study, relearn what it is that you were studying beforehand, and you'll see that your ability to comprehend it has drastically increased, even though you weren't really doing much at that specific time when you were just in your own space, existing and being the individual that you see yourself as and the person as you want to be. And, you know, don't always feel like actually engaging with the work, actually being productive with the books in front of you is a way of you actually executing studying. Sometimes you can stare at books, notes for hours and hours and hours and still walk away with just as much information you had before you started spending all those hours studying and reading those books. And I know it's hard to not always wanting to be studying or not always wanting to be productive and engaging with your knowledge and activities and modules, because sometimes as students we do tend to feel guilty when we just lingering and chilling and existing basically. But sometimes that's exactly what your mind needs from you, to just allow it to exist so that it can also play its role and so that it can also play its part. And you know sometimes you just got to be gentle with yourself. You just got to be patient with yourself and patient with life, And yes, sometimes the outcome might not always be the desired outcome, but that doesn't mean that you should take your foot off the gas pedal. It just means go back to the drawing board, reevaluate what is it that you did? How could you have done it differently? How could you have been more productive, engaging, and active with your work? Sometimes we try to put as much information as we possibly can into our minds in a short space of time. And sometimes it might be a success, but majority of the time it's going to be a failure because, as I said, your brain, your mind really needs that time to break information on its own and engage with the information. And then your job is to just re-go and relearn, restudy, re-look at those textbooks and information that you were putting it in, so that it can also dissect it more and interpret it more and understand it more in a greater aspect. So basically, I just wanted to come express about that moment in time that I was in my head on my life when I felt like, the walls were just coming down, tumbling on me because of like academics just being so much for me to handle and me feeling like I'm not playing the part. But at the end of the day, you always got to remember that sometimes the best key to execution is just being patient with yourself, taking it easy, and always constantly reevaluating your methods, your strategies, your procedures, because that's the only way to grow in life. That's the only way to push forward is to constantly reevaluate, look back, dissect, see what could you have done differently, what could you have done more effectively, efficiently, and just approach the next step with that knowledge and just execute it. And you'll see 9 out of 10 times how it all comes full circle. Because at the end of the day, I feel like everything always comes full circle, no matter where we are, no matter what we face, no matter what we stand with regards, you know, it all comes back full circle. And with that being said, take it easy and don't forget, you got this. There's nothing you can't do. There's nothing you cannot achieve. You just got to put your mind to it, and you just got to be patient enough to walk that journey and wait for you to reap the rewards. Peace and love.